Donald, with a characteristic display of humility, declared this race is over. Manhattan has spoken. And if the rest of the voters would quietly go home now and allow him to give the general election to Hillary, all would be better.
Texas Senator Ted Cruz earlier today downplaying Donald Trump's declaration that the race is over. Of course, the Donald won big in his home state of New York last night, but Ted Cruz losing in the way he did revealed that Trump is doing well with people who he might have difficulty with nationally, or at least we were led to believe that. Take a look at the CBS News exit poll of New Yorkers. Republican women chose Trump over Kasich and Cruz. Donald getting 57% of the women's vote as opposed to Kasich with 25% and Cruz with 15%. Joining us now from her office on Capitol Hill, Congressman Diane Black of Tennessee. Diane's a member of the House Committee on the Budget and my old committee, the powerful Ways and Means Committee. Diane, it's great to have you back here on Newsmax Prime, and you're working on an important bill dealing with what's politically correct, but I'd be remiss if we didn't talk some about presidential politics. This whole thing with Trump doing well with women. Can he do nationally what he did last night in New York if he is the nominee?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. Good evening. And I believe, as you see, the women in New York appreciated what he's saying when he's talking about the economy getting better. Women represent 52% of the population, and so they're very concerned about the economy, as we all are. Over the last 8 years, we have seen a lack of ability to be able to raise our salaries and to be able to have health care for our families. So women are looking for someone who will talk about the things that are important to them, and obviously Donald Trump is talking about those.
Now, Diane, Gallup is making a big deal out of a poll that supposedly shows Trump as the most, quote, unlikable presidential candidate in decades. Is there a chance in a general election campaign that he could overcome those negatives and prevail against, maybe Hillary Clinton?
I think that as we look at what Hillary Clinton's numbers are, we see that since the fall of last year, she's fallen by 30 points in her popularity. So I think when you put Hillary against Trump, who is having some pretty good numbers out there on the campaign trail, I think he can certainly beat her. And her numbers aren't coming up, her numbers are going down, and I think that's very telling about what the possibilities are in November.
All right, Diane, let's move from presidential politics to policy and combating the political correctness on Capitol Hill. You've introduced legislation to overturn a decision by the Library of Congress to remove the term illegal alien from their materials. What on earth is going on over at the Library of Congress?
This is where we have political correctness gone amok. We see a group of very liberal students from Dartmouth University who sent the petition to the Library of Congress, and they reacted to that. Silliness, because the words alien are defined in Webster's dictionary and Black's Law. They're used actually throughout our code. And for them to have responded to a small group of liberal college students in changing the big bibliography and saying that you're not going to use those terms really is political correctness, and we want to stop that. We want to continue to use the terms that appropriately describe people that are in this country, alien meaning a foreigner, and illegally meaning you're an illegal foreigner. We need to continue to use the terms that are defined by the dictionary and not something that's changed because of political correctness.
Well, away from Capitol Hill, the Associated Press back in 2013 deleted the term illegal alien from their style book. Is this just further evidence that the press is hopelessly biased, trying to be politically correct and get on one side of an issue where they should be subjective? About 45 seconds, Diane.
Can anyone really say that we don't have a liberal press? We know we have a liberal press. They even admit they're liberal. So no doubt that that's what that is in the liberal press. And we cannot allow that to happen in a respectable organization such as our Library of Congress.
One final note, across the street on the other side, the Supreme Court hearing about Obama's amnesty. Do you think with a deadlocked court, we'll see a 4-4 tie and the lower court's decision stopping that amnesty stay in place? 15 seconds.
Well, I think that's a very good possibility that that may happen. And by the way, they use some of those terms. The Solicitor General used illegal alien in his talk, and so did 3 of the liberal judges. So no reason to change that language.
Diane Black making sure that the English language remains English here in the United States. We thank you for your time tonight from Capitol Hill.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.